Haicheng private equity tycoon publicly seeks his savior in the media. The clue is a peace buckle. It's exactly the same as the one hanging around my neck. My mother sneaked into my room in the middle of the night and swapped mine for my sister's peace buckle. I pretended not to see it. My sister's is genuine. Worth 8 million. Mine is a fake. Not worth a cent. Why would I say anything? In my previous life, I did speak up, and my mother backed off. But when I went to see the big shot, my mother barged in with my sister, accusing me of pulling a fast one. I was condemned by 1,000 pointing fingers, and nearly got run over by a blind fan. I exhausted every effort just to clear my name. Just when I thought the big shot was deeply in love with me, I found out that he only wanted to use my body to resurrect his first love. So I pretended to be possessed by his first love and swindled all his money away. Although I lived in luxury and died a natural death, I was hunted by the big shot for my entire life. Life wasn't comfortable enough. In this life, it's also fine to live a comfortable life with 8 million. My sister Yun Chi Ning and I are twins, but I prefer a 9-to-5 routine and hate overtime. So I stayed in my mother's womb until 9 o'clock in the morning when it was fully bright before I came out. 6 hours later than my sister. The fortune teller said my sister is a lucky star who can bring prosperity to the whole family, and I am a jinx who only brings bad luck to the family. So after I was born, I was abandoned at my grandmother's house in the ancient town, while my sister was taken by our parents to live in a new house in the city. When I was young, my parents told me they didn't have the energy to raise 2 children at the same time. When I grew up, they said they needed to keep a room for my sister as a practice room. In short, there was never a place for me in our city home. I never lived there for a single day. My name is Yun Shu Yao. It may seem full of scholarly elegance, but in fact it means being so distant that there is no news at all. It was just that they feared I would cause trouble with them once I grew up, so they replaced it with the character Shu to gloss over the situation. After all, the Yun family claims to be a scholarly family, and doing such superficial work is not only a habit but also something they are very adept at. After my sister and I graduated from university, our grandmother gave each of us a black jade peace button wrapped in gold as a congratulatory gift. On the surface, the only slight difference between our peace pendants is the gold wrapping. My sister's has symmetrical leaves, while mine has an extra vertical leaf in the middle of the symmetrical ones. Grandma said mine looks more noble, but I overheard her telling my sister in private that hers is the genuine one, made for the imperial court. Worth 8 million. It is a treasure that has been passed down for many generations in the Yun family, but mine is just a fake. Worthless. It was specially made just to show fairness and fool me. I am furious, but I didn't rush out to argue on the spot, because my upbringing told me that even if I made a scene, they would just turn around and accuse me of being immature. They would say they've already been considerate of my feelings, even specially ordering a fake for me. It's me who is ungrateful, failing to understand their good intentions of treating everyone equally. Compensation. That is absolutely wishful thinking. I walked out of the old mansion in a sulk to clear my mind. Along the way, I was thinking about how to quietly make the 8 million yuan peace buckle mine. The old mansion is in an ancient town, with few people at night. Perfect for a long walk. But I hadn't gone far before I nearly tripped. Looking back, it was a man's leg that had tripped me. The man seemed drunk, sitting with his back against the wall, his excessively long legs proving to be quite a nuisance. After tripping me, the man showed no apology whatsoever. Instead, he looked at me with bright, gleaming eyes. It was as if I were some gullible patron, coming to rescue him from the male brothel. Later I found out that in his eyes, I was indeed a sucker. A charlatan gave him a time and place, telling him to sit there and wait. Said that the first person to run into him would be the perfect vessel to revive his first love. How the hell was I supposed to know what he was plotting? Already feeling stifled with anger, I just took it out on him, rushing forward and kicking him twice. I even cursed him, saying, "A good dog doesn't block the way." Yeah, that's just how aggressive I am. What else can you expect? When I was abandoned in this ancient town as a child, growing up without a father's love or a mother's care. If I'm not tough enough, both adults and kids will bully me. Ever since I was 3 years old, everyone in the old town would rush to close their doors when they saw me. The man's face was clearly unfamiliar, almost made me fall flat on my face. So giving him 2 kicks was actually being polite. Seeing him look at me pitifully, my conscience stirred, and I threw the fake peace buckle at him. Consider this your compensation, Riri. Even now, a worthless trinket is only good for fobbing off such a clueless person. But I didn't expect him to keep chasing me, trying to get my contact information, annoyed that he couldn't take a hint. I simply kicked him into the river. The peace button fell by the riverbank. The hypocritical genes of the Yun family were acting up. I didn't want to leave evidence for others to know that I had done something bad. So I picked up the peace lock and hung it back around my neck. Anyway, it was pitch dark and there was no one around. I turned around and left. Unexpectedly, that very night, the media was flooded with news that Jiang Su, the private equity tycoon of Haicheng, was searching for his lifesaver. The clue is an AI-polished peace pendant, exactly the same as the one hanging around my neck. I saw this news before going to bed. At the time, I felt this guy was tricking me into showing up to get his revenge. But he quickly explained on his personal account that he managed to jump into the water in time, which neutralized the drug's effect in his system. He sincerely wanted to thank me. Between the lines, he portrayed me as a heroic and dashing female warrior. Even a blind person could tell he fell in love with me at first sight. Although I'm not exactly smitten, thinking about using his influence to spite the biased Yun family is quite satisfying. If he actually has feelings for me, then he certainly wouldn't refuse if I asked to learn investing from him. Once I earn over 6-8 million in profits through my own ability, wouldn't that be more satisfying than stealing my sister's safety jade pendant? I decided to meet him the next day, but late at night. My biological mother, who should have gone back to the house in the city, appeared in my room. She secretly swapped out my jade piece pendant. She had always wanted to marry my sister into a wealthy family, but unfortunately, not a single one of our ancestors for 18 generations could even touch the edge of such a family. She would never miss this opportunity with Jiang Su, even if it killed her. Rather than giving me the 6-8 million yuan safety buckle, she still wanted to snatch this unlikely chance to marry into a wealthy family and give it to my sister. I jumped up and argued with her on the spot. She couldn't beat me in a fight or a shouting match, so she brainwashed me, saying my sister is more suitable for marrying into a wealthy family. I would only waste the opportunity. She also said a lot about how my sister marrying into a wealthy family would benefit me. I didn't believe a single word and directly kicked her out. The next day, I secretly got up early and rushed to the place in the city where Jiang Su said he was waiting for me. In the end, my mom came out with my sister, screaming and accusing me of pulling a fast one. She even called a large group of media people to witness. The most touching thing she said was, "I am her biological mother. If she hadn't gone too far, how could I bear to make her lose face?" She was sincere and earnest, looking every bit like a mother who is disappointed that her child doesn't measure up. She would absolutely never do something like framing a younger sister to promote an older sister. Jiang Su stared at me, my face identical to my sister's, and he was completely stunned. I quickly became the butt of everyone's jokes. My sister is a third-rate celebrity, and she has quite a few blind fans. One of those blind fans almost ran me over with his car. In the end, I spent a great deal of effort to find evidence proving my innocence. The ones being mocked became my mother and my sister. Jiang Su was extremely kind to me, so much so that he would do whatever I said. Just when I thought he was truly infatuated with me and was considering whether to accept him, I accidentally discovered that what he really liked was only my physical shell. To revive his deceased first love, I was very angry and planned to give him a potion to make him infertile. But thinking about the brief pleasure followed by long years of sewing machine peddling, so I gave up. Later, I played along and pretended to be his resurrected first love. I tricked him into transferring all his assets to my name. Thus, amidst the flashing blades and swords, I lived a life of luxury and fine food for my entire life. If I had a second chance, I would choose to take the 6-8 million and live a free life with a clear conscience. So, watching my mother swap out my peace pendant, I said nothing. To prevent burglary, our family's old house had locks added on the outside of the windows as well. And they were all locked when no one was staying overnight. After my mother took away my peace buckle, she locked all my doors and windows from the outside. I found it quite amusing. Am I the kind of person who can be locked in? After my mother left, I immediately got up, packed my documents, put on the genuine peace buckle, pushed open the roof tiles, and climbed out, completely familiar with the path. Given my mom's nature, giving me the real peace pendant is just a stopgap measure, to prevent me from going early tomorrow morning and ruining my sister's good thing. Once my sister meets Jiangsu, my mom will definitely turn around and order a fake to exchange for the real one in my hand. She bet that I wouldn't notice the peace buckle was missing a leaf before she swapped it with a fake. By then, my sister would have successfully latched onto Jiangsu, and she could retrieve the genuine piece in time. Truly, all the good things fell into their laps. Naturally, I would make sure her plan backfired. I rushed to commission a fake, then sent the genuine item to the auction house. After a whole day's work, I put on the fake and returned to the old house, only to find the locks on my doors and windows still hanging there. In other words, throughout the entire day, my grandmother hadn't bothered to check on me at all. What's more, I didn't even see her anywhere in the house. No idea where she had gone to hide in cahoots with my mother. I was happy to be left alone, leisurely climbing back into the room through the roof and continuing to sleep on the bed. When night had completely fallen, I finally heard the sound of a lock being opened. My mother came in, turned on the light, saw me sitting on the bed staring at her, and preempted me. "What are you staring at me for? It was your grandmother who has gone senile, forgetting that you have graduated from university and should be sleeping at home. She locked the door early this morning and went to Mount Putua to worship Buddha. And she won't be back until tomorrow. She only just remembered that she might have locked you in and called me to come check. I kindly came to open the door for you. But why are you looking at me like you want to eat me? Blame your grandma." Perfect logic. Absolute and flawless confidence. I really think the Oscars owe her a little gold statue. If not an acting award, then at least a screenwriting one. Seeing that I wasn't arguing with her, she seemed to believe I had bought her lies. She let out a satisfied sigh, her tone softening. "You really are something. Being locked in the house and not even sending us a message. Here it comes again, the family specialty of having it both ways." I rolled my eyes without hesitation. "As if you would have come any sooner to unlock the door if I had sent you a message. If I really send them a message, they'll definitely make an excuse saying they're busy and tell me to wait patiently." My mom smiled awkwardly and quickly changed the subject. "I brought you some spicy hot pot. Go eat it now." I knew she was trying to send me away so she could swap the safety pendant, so I grumbled and got up to leave as usual. I had barely taken a few bites of the spicy hot pot when my mom left. When she said goodbye to me, she couldn't suppress the smile on her lips. Once she was out the door, I immediately ran back to my own room. Sure enough, the fake 2-leaf peace buckle I had placed in my bedside cabinet had been replaced with a fake 3-leaf peace buckle. I couldn't help but curl the corners of my mouth. We really are a close mother and daughter. We're exactly alike in our slyness and laziness. I turned back and continued eating my malatang. I ate while scrolling on my phone. The internet is flooded with news about my sister meeting Jiangsu. Unlike my perpetually sun-kissed wheat-colored skin, my sister has the pallid complexion of a fish's belly from never being in the sun. Plus, she's a third-rate little starlet who really knows how to dress herself up. Standing next to Jiangsu, they look like a perfect match made in heaven. Literally, the gold of a patron. Online, everyone is calling for them to be together. I took a look, and the loudest ones were all my sister's brainless fans. I sent one of the photos clearly showing a 3-leaf safety pendant to my mom and demanded, "When did sister take my safety pendant?" My mom was clearly well prepared and immediately replied, "Isn't yours in your own drawer? Look carefully before you speak." Your sister is wearing the one Grandma gave her. Yes. She got 2 pieces. And one of them has 3 leaves. We just didn't tell you because we were afraid you'd make a fuss. They're all just cheap little trinkets. Don't take it so seriously. See? In the end, it's always me who's wrong. I sneered and asked again. But I was the one who saved Jiangsu. Why did you impersonate me? Sister. My mom called me immediately. As soon as I answered, her roar blasted into my ears. Yun Shuyao, I warn you not to say anything wrong. It has to be your sister who saved Jiangsu. That's best for the whole family. Do you understand? I deliberately provoked her. I don't understand. And I don't intend to. I'll contact Jiangsu right now. My mother seemed to have anticipated my reaction and immediately softened her tone. All right. Don't make a fuss. Haven't you always wanted to rent a place of your own in the city center? Find a good apartment and I'll pay for a year's rent. A year's rent would be at most 100,000 yuan. Do you think I'm that easy to satisfy? I went straight for the big ask. If you transfer ownership of your current house to me, then I'll drop it. That house is in the inner ring of Haicheng. Although it's not a luxury mansion, its current market value is around 15 million. How could my parents possibly give it to me? The purpose of my making a fuss is to get my grandmother's old house. I'm just afraid they won't agree. So I deliberately proposed a plan they would like even less. According to the timeline of my previous life, the ancient town will be renovated next year. A major developer will offer over 20 million to buy my grandmother's old house and expand it together with the adjacent property into a classical club, adding the money from selling my peace buckle. What I get will be twice what my sister inherits from the city house. I am satisfied for now. Sure enough, as soon as my mom heard that I wanted the city house, she wished she could kill me with a knife on the spot. You wish. That house is reserved for your sister. I won't hide it at all. I can't be bothered with the Yun family's pretense of fairness. I just threw out one sentence. Then I'll go see Jiangsu. I hung up immediately. My mom called again in a fluster. I didn't take it, deliberately messing with her state of mind, letting her think I had already gone out to find Jiangsu. Before long, my dad's phone call also came in. My dad has been stationed abroad for a long time, only coming home 2 or 3 times a year. Every time he puts on that feudal patriarch act to lecture me, I end up trouncing him so badly that he's left in a mess. So he almost never contacts me. It's rare for him to take the initiative like this. So of course I'll respond, because there are some things that only he can decide. After the call connected, as usual, I heard my dad's lecturing voice. Yun Shuyao, you've graduated from college. You should be mature. How could you ruin your sister's good fortune just for your own selfish desires? Your personality is too straightforward. You can never handle a big shot like Jiangsu. Even if the opportunity were given to you, it would be a complete waste. His favoritism is out of this world. Yet he speaks with such self-righteousness. I couldn't bear to listen anymore. So I directly interrupted him. Unless you transfer the downtown house to me, nothing else is up for discussion. You have to give me either a wealthy son-in-law or the downtown house. Otherwise, I'll make the whole world laugh at your precious daughter Yun Qining for pulling a bait-and-switch. My father was panting heavily. I could feel his murderous intent even over the phone. But the mountains are high and the roads are far, so there's nothing he can do to me. Finally, he sighed very reluctantly. You want the house, right? Then I'll have Grandma transfer the old house to you. It just so happens that you and your sister each get one. And they're the ones you've lived in since childhood. As your parents, we've played fair. Heh. The old house now isn't even worth a fraction of a house in the city. And you actually have the nerve to say you've treated everyone fairly. I laughed in anger. But I agreed. After all, what I wanted from the beginning was the old house. Afraid that I would cause trouble. Grandma came back the next day and urged me to go through the transfer procedures. While waiting in line, Grandma once again used the Yun family's fairness theory to brainwash me. I have guarded this old house for a lifetime and couldn't bear to give it to anyone. Giving it to you today is very unfair to your elder sister. So, since you've gained an advantage, you should yield to your sister a little. Don't bother fighting over things that aren't worth it. I felt uncomfortable hearing that. But since the old house wasn't in my hands yet, I could only soothe her. Grandma, don't worry. He's just a man. If sister wants him, she can have him. I won't fight her for him. I meant every word. Even if Grandma stared at me with suspicious eyes, she couldn't detect any flaw. Grandma nodded slightly. That's more like it. In a family, the one with the strongest ability steps up. And the others don't hold them back. That's how we can live in harmony. Just your version of harmony. Right. I rolled my eyes inwardly. After the transfer procedures were completed, I finally said what had been stuck in my chest. With a hint of sarcasm. Grandma, I think I'm the one with the strongest ability in this family. The air instantly froze. My grandma's dim, aged eyes turned into poisoned daggers in an instant. You're not still planning to ruin your sister's good fortune, are you? Before I could react, a chill seeped through her sagging eyelids. Let me warn you, she said. If you dare lift a single finger to meddle in your sister's affairs, I'll drag a stool to the TV station entrance and tell everyone that this granddaughter of mine is vicious and full of leash, even harm her own sister. I'm an old woman with one foot in the grave. Whatever I say, people will believe it. Don't you want to replace your sister and climb the social ladder? I'll help you go straight to heaven. Don't think that just because the house is in your name, I can't do anything to you. A house is inanimate, but a reputation is alive. You're a young girl. If your reputation is ruined, who would dare marry you? Which company would dare hire you? See, she really had everything figured out in advance. If I dared to make a scene, she would block every path I could take. I laughed at myself wryly. Grandma thought I had given in, and her tone suddenly softened. She once again trotted out that fair and balanced theory of the Yun family. Look at you. You forced me to say such harsh things. If you just behave. Would Grandma ever harm you? When your sister does well, doesn't that bring you honor too? As a family, we share glory and disgrace. If you want to harm her, you're harming yourself and this family. She paused, exuding the authority of a matriarch from the days when the Aizen-Joro family still held power. Remember, if you want to rise, fine, but you cannot climb over your sister's head to get there. If you do, I will pull you down. And if I can't pull you down, I will take you down with me. I let out a long sigh in my heart. All right, I'm utterly resigned for this lifetime. Don't worry, Grandma, I won't snatch sister's blessings, I said with a faint smile. Grandma nodded with satisfaction, but she ordered too early. I added another sentence, in a gentle tone. Because her good fortune is bad luck to me. After speaking, I turned and left without looking at Grandma again, but I could hear Grandma's angry and exasperated panting. A few days later, before the public auction even began, the genuine black jade piece buckle wrapped in gold caught the eye of a VIP buyer. After deducting the handling fee, I received $7.5 million in hand. With the money in hand, I immediately bought a small 2-bedroom apartment in Central, on the 3rd floor, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking lush green trees. The seller has meticulously decorated it with a strong artistic atmosphere. Even the bathroom tiles are to my taste. I can move in with just a suitcase, but I still lied that it was rented and asked my mom for 100,000 yuan as rent. I found a job in a nearby office building, commuting on foot every day. Extremely pleasant. No longer like in high school, when the home in the city was only half an hour away. But I had to take an hour-and-a-half subway ride back to the ancient town to live. Jiang Su invested in the drama my sister is filming. My sister was originally the 3rd female lead, and suddenly became the female lead. She was very happy and showed off on social media. When the director said to let me try the female lead, I thought it was a joke. So much pressure. But since President Jiang trusts me so much, then I'll give it a try. Her pretentiousness completely infuriated Fang Wei, the original female lead whom she had replaced. Fang Wei found the person who had proven my innocence in the previous life. He is a permanent resident of the ancient town and also my childhood playmate, capable of distinguishing between me and Yun Qinming. The newly installed camera at his house happened to capture the scene of me kicking Jiang-Su into the water. He sent me a message, asking if he could say it. I replied to him, "Keep it buried deep and say nothing." But Fang Wei still treated his speculation as truth and published it online. That boastful post by Yun Qin-ning had already attracted quite a few haters for her, after Fang Wei accused her of secretly swapping things around. She was heavily criticized by netizens. Everyone said she was shameless, always grabbing everything from her younger sister. Yun Qin-ning thought it was me who caused the trouble, so she posted again, directly attacking me. "Little sister, you've never been able to match me since we were young. I know you're sad, but do you have to prove you're better than me in this way? Are you trying to find your childhood friend to fabricate a story? Do you want to ruin me, or do you want to ruin this family?" Jiang Shuye was also convinced that I was jealous, afraid that I would ruin his plan to resurrect his first love. He hired a large number of online trolls to smear me, portraying me as someone who has to compete with my sister for everything, needing everyone in the family to accommodate me, a neurotic younger sister who throws tantrums whenever she's unsatisfied. My mom sent me a message. "See? That's how charming your sister is. She's already got Jiang-Su's heart firmly in her grasp in such a short time. If it were you, you'd never have that ability. You'd only be able to watch helplessly as such a high-quality man gets snatched away by another woman. Now, do you understand the good intentions I had from the start?" My dad called me again, quickly put out a statement saying it was your sister who saved him. "I'll give you 100,000. After the last confrontation. My dad kind of mastered the essence of talking to me. We can only talk about money. I was already afraid that Jiang-Su would realize he had the wrong target and turn to harm me. So I took the 100,000 yuan from my dad and immediately issued a statement. The person was saved by my sister. It has nothing to do with me. Fang Wei. It is suggested that the conflicting parties directly confront each other, and not fabricate stories to harm innocent bystanders. Then, I Yunkening, as the elder sister, being so impatient. Do you want to destroy me or destroy this family? In short, get lost. Don't mess with me. I just want to watch the show." Afterwards, the internet became quiet. Time quickly approached the day when Jiang-Su revived his first love in his previous life. Relying on my memory, I anonymously leaked the time and place of the possession to Fang Wei and several other actors. All of them were Yun Qingning's enemies. According to the ritualistic sense of the charlatan, the person being possessed must be tied up and bled. And then their blood is used to write talismans. In my past life, I learned of Jiang-Su's scheme in advance and bribed the charlatan early on. Using none other than Jiang-Su's own money, the charlatan never actually had the ability to resurrect his first love. When he heard I was willing to pretend to be her and help him avoid exposure, he felt as if a pillow had been handed to him just when he was dozing off. There's not even a need to prepare a lie to cover up afterwards. We clicked instantly. The entire possession ceremony, I didn't suffer a bit of hardship. I just went with the flow and played the part of a first love possessing me. Then, as expected, I swindled all of Jiang-Su's assets. If the con artist hadn't been caught for killing someone else and confessed the truth, Jiang-Su would have spent his whole life thinking I was his first love. I wouldn't have had to carry a huge sum of money and wander the world, living a luxurious fugitive life. In this life, Yun Qining knows nothing, only yearning for a life of wealth and status. Of course, I'll invite her enemies to watch her dreams shatter. Those people will definitely live stream it, which is perfect for me to watch the show from home. When the so-called body-snatching day arrived, it happened to be a weekend. I went back to the old house. My mother came too. Previously, Yun Qining was reluctant to hire an extra assistant, so my mother always followed her around, attending to her every need. After Jiang-Su appeared, he hired an entire team for Yun Qining, and my mother was no longer needed. My sister was already annoyed by my mother's constant meddling, so she simply kicked her out to go home and retire. Originally, my mother wanted to go abroad to reunite with my father, but he said he was about to be sent to Africa, so my mother dropped the idea of reuniting. Whenever I'm free, I come to the old house to keep my grandmother company. I plan to tell my mom today after I finish watching Yun Qining suffer. The reason my dad won't let her go isn't because he's being sent to Africa. It's because my dad has gotten involved with a local Chinese woman. That Chinese woman has a son from a previous marriage, and my dad happily plays the role of a stepfather. Content as can be. These were all discovered inadvertently when I was hiding from Jiangsu all over the world in my previous life. The key part that needs to be underlined is that the Chinese descent person is a man. When I arrived at the old mansion, Feng Wei's people had already posted several secretly filmed clips online. In the video, Yun Qining was tied up among a pile of candles. The candle flames were arranged according to the charlatan's runes. Yun Qining's mouth was stuffed with a sock. But she was conscious. Her eyes were wide open, and she kept shaking her head. Her eyes were filled with the despair of a dying struggle. But the charlatan was completely unmoved, stepping forward to slash her tendons with his sword. Blood gushed from her wounds in an instant. All netizens recognized her, but everyone thought it was a candid shot on set. Her new fans were almost all bought by Jiangsu's money, to show professionalism. They all popped up and wildly praised her acting skills. I smiled and cast the video onto the TV. My mom couldn't stand it at first glance. She grabbed a tissue and wiped her tears. Your sister Realish endured all kinds of hardships for this family. My grandmother, on the other hand, remained composed and was still busy scolding me. Yun Shuyao, take a good look. Your comfortable life is all thanks to your sister's suffering. I couldn't help but ask flatly, what's so good about my life? Is it the food or the accommodation? I grew up eating vegetarian with you, and I couldn't even get enough, ended up with anemia. How is that supposed to be good? That house in the city, I passed by it every day in high school, but I never had the right to live in it. How is that supposed to be good either? Grandma shot me a glare. Look at you, always so nitpicky. It's not like I forbade you from living there, you just didn't want to. Your sister has always let you have your way since you were kids, hasn't she? Her skill of turning the blame around is really reaching new heights. But this time, unlike before, I didn't just roar a couple of times and then couldn't be bothered to argue with her. I raised my eyebrows, refusing to let it go. Is it that I don't want to? It's simply that there's no room for me at all. All the good things go to her. The bad ones are thrown to me. Is that what you call giving in? Grandma, you're 81 this year. You should already be able to see what the yellow springs look like. Right? You've kept your conscience pent up for 22 years. If you don't use it now, you'll never have the chance. No way. Are you telling me you don't have a conscience at all? My grandmother was so furious that she grabbed a cup and threw it at me, but I was already on guard and jumped up just in time to dodge it. My mother stepped forward to uphold justice. Yun Shuyao, are you asking for trouble? Grandma has taken care of you for 22 years. And yet you dare to curse her. I curled my lip at my mom from across the coffee table. Look at you people. You just can't stand hearing the truth. Then I'll say a bit more truth for you to hear, so you can get used to it sooner. I projected onto the TV the photos of my dad, his same-sex lover, and their happy family of 3. Taken secretly by the private detective I'd hired. A few of them were especially hard on the eyes. It's a photo of my dad tonguing that person. I sent these photos to my dad yesterday. He gave me 500,000 to keep it from my mom. But someone like me, who loves stirring up trouble, how could I keep my word? My mom turned ashen the instant she saw the photo. Truly, it was as white as a dead fish's belly. I quickly tried to comfort her. Mom, don't get too worked up. This kid isn't my dad's. My dad just sows the seed and never reaps. In that respect, he's been quite considerate of you. My mom burst out crying. Wah! And as she cried, she pulled out her phone to call my dad. Her hands were trembling, so much so that when the call connected, all she could manage was a shaky voice. Yun Weihao, you. Seeing how useless she was, I snatched the phone from her and hit speaker. Dad, Mom knows everything about you keeping a gay lover abroad and raising his brat. My dad panicked and gritted his teeth, cursing me. Yun Shuyao, you broke your word, I declared with righteous indignation. My mom is my own mother. Of course I have to help her. I'm not as vicious as you. My grandmother came over and sternly scolded my dad. Yun Wei Hao. Have you gone crazy? You dare to touch a man. What if you get a disease? See? My grandmother's logic is flawless. My mother was so angry that she directly called my grandmother by her full name. Are you even human? Your son did such a despicable thing. And you only worry about whether he'll get sick. My grandmother glared at my mother, looking as if it were only natural. Am I not also concerned about you? If he gets sick, only you in this family will be affected. Don't take my goodwill for ill intent. My mother completely lost it and started cursing without restraint. Stop putting on airs with me. You are the classic example of, if the upper beam is not straight, the lower ones will be crooked. My father yelled at my mother over the phone. How dare you yell at my mother? Apologize to my mother immediately, or I'll divorce you when I get back. My mom cried even louder. As for how she fought back against my dad and argued with my grandma, I had no interest in witnessing any more. Anyway, they won't have a good life from now on. And that's enough. Fang Wei went to find the person secretly filming the body snatching, but ultimately couldn't stand the bloody scene and called the police. The police notified me, because both my mom and my grandma were admitted to the hospital. No one answered the phone. My grandma was so angry that her blood pressure shot up and she passed out. As for my mom, my grandma threw a remote control at her and injured her eye. The common point between them is that both have lost at least half their hair. I rushed to the hospital and visited 3 patients at once. That's really good. Happy. I went to see my sister first. Her hands and feet were wrapped in gauze, her eyes staring blankly at the ceiling, utterly lifeless. I heard that Jiang Su was right there at the scene and even personally drew her blood. The blow was not insignificant. When I pushed the door open, Fang Wei was mocking her. Get up. Keep showing off how much your president Jiang dotes on you. Ha ha ha. I kicked Fang Wei in the back of the knee, and she instantly knelt in front of the hospital bed. My sister perked up immediately, sat up and gave me a thumbs up. That's my sister for you. She turned to look at Fang Wei. Get up. Keep acting tough. Watch my little sister beat you to death. Fang Wei looked at the 4-pole I was holding up and silently swallowed. Then she slowly got up, kept saying sorry, and quietly slipped toward the door. I ignored her. She almost got me burned. Kicking her twice is enough. Yun Qining was very dissatisfied. Yun Shuyao, how could you just let her go like that? You should have beaten her half to death before letting her go. She was giving me orders as usual. I also gave her a slap on the back of the head as usual. Dream on. You don't actually think I came here specifically to stand up for you, do you? Yun Qining covers the back of her head, looking displeased. If you're not here to stand up for me, then why are you here? I cross my arms over my chest, unabashedly saying, just like Fang Wei, I'm also here to laugh at you. Yun Qining catches her breath, pounding her chest to calm herself. After patiently waiting for her to recover, I ask with a smile, how does it feel to be the one rushing to be the sacrifice? She stared at me, the breath she had just caught already failing again. I ignored it and continued to tease her. I really should thank you properly if you weren't so eager to take everything. I would have been the one getting bled. Congratulations. Now your face is completely lost and your career is ruined. You've thoroughly become a complete joke. Yun Qining's lips turned purple. She pointed at me, wanting to curse, but then rolled her eyes and fainted. I quickly went to call the doctor, mainly because I hadn't finished scolding her. I couldn't just let her die like that. After some emergency treatment, Yun Qining woke up, but the way he looked at me was completely different from before. It was as if I had been drifting in the ocean for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally seeing a boat approach, but only when the boat got closer did I realize it was a pirate ship. Were you reborn a long time ago? Yun Qining's voice held the resentment of someone who died before they had lived enough. I was slightly stunned, then grinned. Great. I didn't need to waste any more words to make her heart ache. Because in her previous life, she married 3 times, each time poorer than the last, and finally died of poverty and illness. Before her death, I went to see her, wearing the diamond ring she had always dreamed of. Worth a small goal. She just said, "If it weren't for you ruining my plans, this ring should be on my finger." Then, she was literally angered to death. Having been given another chance, not only did she fail to reflect, but she continued to be stubborn as a dead duck. Humph. No matter what happens in this life, I still have the house my parents gave me and the peace pendant my grandmother gave me. I don't have to do anything. And I still have money, a house, and the love of my parents and grandmother. I'm still 100 times better off than you. I smiled and nodded. Hold on to it tightly, or you'll end up with nothing. It's the same as in the previous life. Don't come begging at my door, or I'll set the dogs on you. Based on my past life memories, the apartment in the city center became worthless because the upstairs neighbor brought an electric bike battery home to charge, which blew a hole through the ceiling. In this life, there will be no such accident. I'm not in a hurry. After Yun Qining loses her house, and then sells the peace button only to find it's fake, she will finally understand what I meant today. I can't be bothered with Yun Qining's hysterics. I'm going to see my mother. My mother had one eye covered with gauze. Lying listlessly on the bed, seeing me, she sat up abruptly, grabbed my hand, and burst into tears. "Yao Yao, I was wrong. You are the lucky star of the family." I was utterly confused, wondering if she had also been reborn. My mother sobbed uncontrollably. "I remember everything now. Back when the master was telling fortunes for you and your sister, you grabbed the Buddhist prayer beads first. And then your sister snatched them. The master happened to turn his head and didn't see it. I thought it wasn't a big deal, so I didn't say anything. But thinking back just now, the master said that whoever picks up the prayer beads first is the lucky star who can bring fortune to the whole family. He told me to treat the lucky star well, or I would face retribution. I was so stupid. I never realized that you were the lucky star who picked up the beads first. I treated you badly all along. And that's why I'm in this mess now. Whoa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's all my fault." I let out a heavy sigh. Well, I didn't need to twist the knife anymore. Her heart was already shattered. But I still decided to kick her when she was down. No wonder me sister knew for years that Dad had a gay lover outside. But she refused to tell you. Turns out she's a jinx, bringing you nothing but bad luck. My mom immediately stopped crying, her neck stiffening with fury. The veins on her neck were throbbing wildly. I quickly told her my sister's room number and even thoughtfully placed the ruler I bought from a street stall at the hospital entrance into her hand, and kindly reminded her, "Hitting her directly on the injured spot will achieve twice the result with half the effort." After saying that, I excused myself to go see Grandma and quickly slipped away. But as soon as I left the hospital room, I was gone. What do I care whether Grandma lives or dies? I will always remember falling into the river at the age of 3. I thrashed about in the water, while my grandmother stood on the bank, completely indifferent. My grandmother never opened her eyes again. My father returned from abroad to attend the funeral. My mother stabbed him with a knife. For the rest of their lives, one will be on a sewing machine, the other on a ventilator, all neat and tidy. My mother severely struck my sister's wound with a ruler, causing inflammation and a high fever. So she couldn't attend the funeral. I had no choice but to carry my grandmother's ashes and place them by her bedside, letting her feel my grandmother's affection every day. No one came to talk to me about fairness anymore. And no one came to guilt-trip me anymore. In my small 2-bedroom apartment, I happily watched the explosive news about that apartment in the city center, and I answered the call from Yun Qining, who, while selling the safety buckle, called me in a fit of rage. "Yun Shuyao. Why is the safety buckle fake? Did you swap it?" I grabbed a handful of the largest blueberries and stuffed them into my mouth, saying calmly, "Do I still need to swap them? Grandma said that thing wasn't worth much anyway." That was exactly how Grandma had fooled me back then. And Yun Qingning was right there covering her mouth, snickering. Yun Qingning was so flustered by my words she stammered, You know mine is real. So you deliberately switched them, didn't you?" I gave a light laugh. If I were that clever, I wouldn't have been fooled by you two for over 20 years. Right. I hung up the phone and couldn't be bothered to deal with her anymore. Yun Qining called the police. But there was no evidence proving that I committed a crime. So I continued to live a carefree life. The following year, the ancient town was renovated. And I got the 20 million as I wished. But it's not over yet. After being released from prison for a year, Jiang Su suddenly regained memories of his past life and insisted on transferring all his assets to me. He said that after experiencing the last life, he had fallen deeply in love with me, otherwise he wouldn't have pursued me relentlessly for a lifetime. And no matter what, he couldn't kill me. He hopes that in this life, we can live together peacefully. I kicked him out, but the property transfer agreement remained. In this new life, I still live in luxury and don't have to hide anymore. I am content.